All right, good morning to you all. Today we're going to review comparing integers and we're going to review the coordinate plane just one more time, although many of you have done very well with that because we're going to be doing a lot of graphing. We're also going to be looking at perimeter, area, and volume. That's going to be a little bit more challenging for some of you. That's fine. We're going to work through it together. But you are going to need a sheet of paper. So go ahead and get a sheet of paper out. And let's start reviewing this. Make sure you watch the video in its full entirety and answer all the questions. Okay? So comparing integers. Integers are numbers without fractional parts. They can be positive, negative, or zero. The further right a number is on the line, the greater it is. Okay? As you can see, like 2 is greater than 1, 3 is greater than 2, and it goes like that. Now on the left side, it looks like the same numbers, but these are negative. These represent a deficit or a, what's the word I'm looking for? Debt. Like you owe somebody something. That's what these represent. Or like a borrowed amount. This is also what the negative numbers represent. Now down here it says the absolute value of a number is the distance the number is from 0. So for example, 3 is 3 units from 0, so the absolute value of 3 is 3. I'll kind of write that like 3. That's the symbol for it. The absolute value is 3. Now the absolute value of negative 3, if you look at it on the number line, 3 is 1, 2, 3 units away from 0. So the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. Okay? This is very helpful in whenever we are going to have a conversation about adding and subtracting integers. Learning the absolute value is going to help you a lot. Okay? So they've got one example here. You're going to compare with a less than. I'm going to kind of put this up there. Greater than or equal. Okay? So that's less than, greater than, or equal. So we got negative 7 compared to the absolute value of negative 9. And right here it says the absolute value of negative 9 is a positive 9. So you can rewrite this as negative 7 compared to 9. And in this case, since we're looking at absolute value, the 9 is greater than the negative 7. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like this example because I want you to write this up here. Example number 2, if we write negative 7 and we write negative 9, which one do you think is greater? You guys tell me. All right. Well, guess what? The negative 7 has greater value. Let me ask you this. Would you rather owe $7 or owe $9? I don't know about you. Well, I don't want to owe anybody. But if I have to owe something, I think the 7 would be better. So that's why the negative 7 holds greater value. Okay? Let's get that sheet of paper out. Actually, you know what? You guys don't need a sheet of paper from this. Let's put one more example up here. We put it right here on there. Example 3. Let's do negative 5 and negative 2. Which one has the greater value? This is very similar to this one right here. What do you think? All right, I hope you said it. Negative 2's got the greater value. All right, those are some great examples right there. So you're going to do, we've got 45 through 54 right here. So you're going to do all those. Make sure you pay attention. Absolute value is how far that number is away from 0. Okay? All right. Now let's look at the coordinate plane. Again, some of y'all did very well, but it doesn't hurt to hear the information again. So notice here we've got, you always start in the top right, quadrant 1. Then you're going to move to the left, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. When you write an ordered pair, your x value goes first and your y value goes second. You have to put the ordered pair in parentheses and use a comma in between those two numbers. Okay? Something I want you to add to this paper is quadrant 1, the signs, your x value is going to be positive, your y value will also be positive. Okay? I can even put, like if you are, here's the x-axis. If you are on the y value above the x-axis, it's going to be positive. Okay? If you're on the x-axis, this area is going to be positive. Now, if you're below the x-axis, that's negative. And to the left, if you're on the x, this area right here is also negative. Okay? So for this one, quadrant 2, your x value will be negative, your y value will be positive. Quadrant 3, your x value will be negative, your y value will also be negative. You see how those are opposite? And then quadrant 4, your x value will be positive, your y value will be negative. And you see how those are also like they've switched with each other. Okay? All right, right here it says to graph a point on the coordinate plane, start at the origin. The first number in the ordered pair is the x-coordinate. That tells you how far left, if it's negative, or right, if it's positive, to move. So if you think about this as a number line, and that's 0, this side's positive, this side is negative. Think about the number line. The second number, the y-coordinate, tells you how far up, if positive, or down, if negative, to move. And you always, remember, this is 0. So if we had a vertical number line, from 0, if you go up, that's positive. Or from 0 and you go down, it's negative. Okay? So it says, example, graph the point -3, 2, and state which quadrant it is located. So we start at the origin. So I'm going to actually write this over here too. Origin is 0.00. That's where the x and the y-axis intersects. Okay? So graph the point -3, 2. So this is the x, this is the y. Okay? X is -3. So starting at the origin, it's negative. So you go 1, 2, 3. There's where -3 is at. And then the y is a +2. So you just go up 1, 2. And then you put your dot right there. That represents the point for -3, 2. Now this is in the upper left quadrant, which is quadrant 2. Okay? All right, you guys are going to do these problems 55 through 64. Make sure that you graph and label each of the ordered pairs on the coordinate plane. Then state the quadrant or axis in or which the point is located. They say axis because sometimes these points are going to be on the x-axis or the y-axis. Let's do 55 and 56 together. So for 55, point A is 2, 4, so that means the 2 is positive and the 4 is positive. Now which quadrant is that? Remember, we've got quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Which quadrant is that? Quadrant 1 is correct. So let's graph it. So starting at the origin, 1, 2 to the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So here's A. Okay? And y'all see it's in the first quadrant. Now for number 56.0, negative 3. Well, 0 is neither positive or negative, so we're just going to write it. But 3 is negative. So this is not in any quadrant. This is going to fall on the X or the Y axis. Which one is it going to fall on? Is it going to be the X axis or the Y axis? Where's that point going to be at? All right, I hope you said the Y axis. So if you start at the origin, your X is 0, so you don't move left or right. Your Y is negative 3, so that means you go down. 1, 2, 3. There's B. You see I've graphed my point and I labeled it. So, oh, I'm sorry. We're going to go back. This is quadrant 1. And this is on the Y-axis. Okay. All right, there's your examples for that. Let's go over this part right here. Last part. Perimeter, area, and volume. And I won't take up much of your time. All right. It says the perimeter of any polygon, add all side lengths. Perimeter, y'all know it. You think of the fence. Area, I like to think of carpet. How much carpet are you going to need? Whenever you have to put carpet down, you got to find out what the area is that you're going to cover. If you're going to put a fence up, you got to find out the perimeter of what you're trying to enclose. So that's how I visualize the difference between area and perimeter. Okay? And we have these formulas right here. Y'all know the area of a rectangle is length times width. Area of a parallelogram is the base times the height. Area of a triangle is 1/2 of the base times the height. And then the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 of the height times, in parentheses, the first base and the second base. And right here is where they give you some examples of that. I'm not going to spend too long on this one right here because this one is a challenge for some of you guys. So I understand if you do not complete 65 through 70, but I am expecting problems 45 through 64 to be completed. You should be able to do number 65. Actually, you should be able to do the perimeter of all of them. Let's see what we can do though. Okay? All right. That's all I have for you today. When you finish this, when you finish as much as you can of this, make sure you turn it into the red basket. Turn it into the red basket. And then you need to go back and work on any assignments that you were missing from last week. Or you can work in Manga High on some assignments up there. And as always, if you've got any questions, send me an email, and I'll be glad to get back with you. I'll see you soon. Love y'all and miss you. Bye.